In this video, I'm going to show you how to shoot a commercial because I recently shot a project and I'll be taking you behind the scenes from the pre-production to the final result. So let's just dive right into the video. The first thing we'll be talking about is pre-production. Pre-production is one of the most important process when you're shooting a project, even though it's not a commercial. Even though it's a regular photo shoot, pre-production is where you plan the whole shoot, from your lighting, from your gear, your shot list, everything, the location. This is where you tie everything together and you basically have an idea of what you're going to do on set. When you get on set, you start shooting. If you don't plan, if you don't have a shot list, if you didn't put anything together, when you get on set, you begin to think of, okay, guys, what is the next scene after this scene, and it will just waste your time. So if you don't do any pre-production or bad pre-production, then the shoot is going to be a stressful one. The project is going to be stressful because there's no organization. Everything is just happening as the event unfolds. When you pre-plan properly, you realize that the shoot goes very smoothly. Although there are some times where things just go bad and you have to improvise, but having a good pre-production in place, it will save you a lot of time and it's professional. So part of the stage of pre-production is locating the set. So actually this set I used for this project, I'm familiar on that place. So I was able to plan how I will light the scene, how I light the subject, because I already know where the sun is, because okay, I was using natural lights. I use natural light for this project. So I already knew, okay, the light is coming from the east or the north, and I don't know which it is, but I already know the direction the sun is coming from, and I know, okay, I have a picture in my head. This is how I like the scene. I already have a finished product of how I want the scene to look like already. You can check out the location a day before or maybe sometime before the shoot, so that you'll be able to analyze and plan properly for the kind of light setup you do or kind of gear you need. And also shortlisting. When you have a short list, you become organized. You just, after finishing a scene, you go to the next and you go to the next. Then maybe after shooting, you decide to be creative and just mix things up. So make sure you add pre-production in your process for any project actually. Gear. What gear that is for the shoot? I used a Sony a7 III and a Tamron 28-75 f2.8 lens and a Pibuless gimbal and also a reflector. That is basically what I use for the shoot. That is the gear. I use the reflector to fill in the shadows on the subject. It's a pretty basic setup, nothing too complicated. Like I said, I already knew what I needed for the shoot in the pre-production phase. So I didn't need to bring extra gear that I didn't need. So now let's go to storytelling. When you have your lights, your composition, whatever, all those things, if you don't have a good story to tell, then everything falls apart. Now, this project was an earbud. The audience targeted are people that love music. So when I was drafting the story out, I was like, okay, how can I tell a story with this product that someone that loves earbud or someone that loves music will resonate, or they'll be able to feel something, because that is the essence of the whole video. You should make somebody to feel something, maybe to feel, oh, I need to get this product, or wow, just to make somebody feel something. That is the whole essence of making all the whole video. That is the essence of the lighting, that is the essence of the gear. Everything is to make somebody feel something. And let me give you a very important tip. If you don't know how, or if you're not experienced with crafting the story for a product, the first thing you should do is list out the features of the product, because now when you buy a product, the manufacturer writes the feature, the highlights of the product. For this earbud, it was they wrote spatial audio, they wrote AI noise cancellation, and I think they wrote 100 hours battery life. So there are many features, but these are the three that I decided to work with. Now the whole story for this commercial was, let me give you the story, let me give you the breakdown. A model is walking and is on the street, and personally I felt that because when I'm walking on the street, I don't like, when I'm walking alone, I love to listen to music because it will just be boring for me. I'm telling the story from a consumer perspective. If I was a consumer and I saw that ad, I related that, yes, that's me. Always tell the story from a consumer perspective. So he was walking and, everywhere is boring. Then he remembered, oh, I have my earbud with me. Then brought it out, connected to his device, then started playing the music. Then now the first feature comes in play, spatial bars audio. I made sure I spent time looking for a music that has enough bass. The model was vibing to the song, throwing his hands, feeling the music. Now, you see, I've ticked one of the future spatial bars audio. Then I progressed to AI noise call cancellation, because then someone called him while he was listening to the music. The AI noise cancellation, because it's on the street, shut out the noise around. You could listen to the caller and the caller could hear clearly, because the AI call feature has already blocked out all the noise. So if you are confused on how to tell a story with a product, circle back or go back to what are the features of this product, what is the manufacturer trying to show the consumer. So when you write this down, you'll be able to build a story. It will be like a signpost, or it will be like a bus stop where you can connect the story together. So it's not about just fancy lights, slow motion, gear and all. The story that you're trying to tell is very important to the whole. It's the story that ties everything together, because if your story is trash, then you have missed the point of the video. So yeah, storytelling is important. So yeah, lighting. The lighting was very simple. It was natural lighting. The lighting was backlit, so I was coming from behind, because the face will be dark and I feel it with a reflector. Another reason why I did that was that I wanted to shoot from the shadow side of the face. Shooting from the shadow side of the face, or shooting from the shadow side, it creates depth and makes it cinematic in quotes. Shooting from the shadow side of the face makes your subject, or it makes the scene looks more cinematic. So the lighting is very simple. Lighting was the sun was coming from behind. Then I had an assistant that was moving with me and the talent to keep the feel on the face of the subject. If the subject face was too dark, when I'm editing, I'll try to, the exposure will just be messy. So I brought that feel so that you're able to get back some shadows, or should I say, get back some light on the face of the subject. So yeah, lighting was very simple, just natural lighting. So composition was just mainly centered. I didn't really think too much for the composition. I just keep it simple, centered frame. And the camera angle, this is where I changed things a bit. I made sure I shot from below, I shot from above, I shot from, because he was just basically walking from a point to another. So I had to shoot from different perspectives to change the shot. If you see, I shot from below, the side, a tracking shot, I shot close-ups. All this was to mix it up, because if I had just shot a wide shot of him just walking, it would be boring, it would just be there. So but by changing the shots, by changing the camera angles, or by changing the perspective of the shot, it looked as if it just subconsciously feel okay. It will feel better that okay, we are seeing this guy from a different perspective every time, and it just makes sense. And also the camera movement too added, because on my gimbal, one of the features I used was the POV mode. I just made sure I switched things up a little bit. Camera movement was push in, push back, tracking shots. When you're planning your own commercial, start from the basics, pre-production. This is where everything comes together. This is where you think of your gear, your storytelling, lighting, composition, camera movement, camera angle. This is where everything goes down. So always make sure your pre-production is intact. But another thing you should notice that I shot this project in the morning, because the light was still directional, because when you're shooting in the morning time, the sun is still coming from the side, so it's easier to light from, and the scene just looks way more cool personally. But I think it depends on what you're going for. If you're shooting around noon, the sun will be directly above your subject, and by that time it will just be like the scene, everywhere will be bright, and well, I don't think I like that. Just make sure your story is very important. Make sure you write down a good story. Have pillars that you can connect. Your audience should be able to relate with the story you're trying to tell. That's how you shoot a commercial. And also, if you're new to photography or filmmaking and you have no idea on how to change the composition or camera perspectives, this video will help you to do that. And I'll see you in the next video.